On January 15th, temperatures in Manhattan dropped to 1 degree Fahrenheit. That's 25 degrees below average and just 1 above the record low set in 1957. It was unfortunate timing for Al Gore, who chose the day to give a speech on global warming. Gore's appearance was arranged by MoveOn.org, a website that's now a power player in Democratic politics. Recently, the site came under fire for posting campaign ads comparing President Bush to Adolf Hitler. The ads were pulled shortly after the controversy erupted, but I was left wondering, was this mindset common among Democrats? So I braved the cold and stood outside Gore's speech at the Beacon Theater, where I found some people willing to speak out. Do you think America has ever had a president more dangerous than George W. Bush?
Absolutely not.
I don't think we've had a president who's been so bent on destroying the United States as George W. Bush.
The thing that he really doesn't know, which is a real problem, is that he's destroying the future of all generations.
I put him in league with the super villains of our world.
I unfortunately have a few family members that support the Bush administration with cash, and they have plaques to back it up. And I love those family members, but they are absolutely supporting an evil empire.
One of the things that great evil does is that they can convince you that they're not. And so I consider him to be that sort of like guy next door who's capable of destroying the planet.
Great evil, you'd say, President Bush?
Great evil. If
you could compare President Bush to any historical figure, who do you think is most similar?
Hitler, clearly.
It's the same sort of way that Hitler worked. You want to get people hating one another.
And he exterminated a lot of people that he didn't like, didn't trust, whatever. And Bush is doing the same damn thing. Different people, different names, but he's doing the same thing.
And there are many variants, from the Nazi variant to the Mussolini variant to the Latin American police state variant to the new fascist variant we have here, okay?
If you could name one historical figure that reminds you most of President Bush, who would it be?
It's a good one. I could very easily liken him to Hitler, but I won't do that. I mean, just in a matter of his aggressiveness, I could do that.
I know a lot has been said about Hitler, and a lot of his quotes mirror George Bush's quotes and ideas.
I mean, I've heard everybody saying, comparing him to the Nazis and all of that. I think that he's in a different class.
I guess Adolf Hitler might have been a little bit more threatening.
A little bit more?
A little bit more.
Yeah. How do you think President Bush was able to get away with stealing the election?
Well, I would like to ask Al Gore why he let him.
Here I am in front of where Al Gore is speaking right now. I'm going to be speaking in a while. And I don't think that guy fought hard enough to make sure that every vote got counted.
I was so offended that I just couldn't believe the Democratic Party let us down.
I think there's a lot of anger in the country right now about what happened in 2000, and I hope that people haven't forgotten that.
Stop calling him President Bush. There was a coup d'etat in 2000.
the fundamentalist Christian right have basically successfully had a coup in our country.
So there was a coup d'etat, okay, and it was consolidated in 2002 with computerized election vote rigging.
But I believe that there's been a shadow government in place.
Every 4 years, they lead us by the nose from one staged election to another.
But this is the first time that our shadow government has ever been able to place their guy in the seat of our real government.
The significance of the John Kennedy assassination is that there is no democracy.
Remember that President Kennedy was murdered in Texas? It's the same Texas crew.
It's the same lineup today as then, only the names have changed.
How stupid do you think President Bush is?
It's really hard to quantify.
I think he's actually very stupid.
He's quite stupid, but he must be somewhat aware of what he's doing, and he knows that he's helping out his rich contributors, and that's destroying the world.
Judging from his speeches and the way he speaks, I really can't imagine that he got into the presidency on any kind of intelligence.
Well, I'd like to think he's smarter than he appears to be, but I'm not optimistic.
I don't perceive him to be a very intelligent man at all, actually.
His analytical abilities are that of a high schooler.
I think he's ignorant.
He seems like an idiot.
The sooner we get away from playing upon people's fears and start playing upon some hopeful, positive ways to help the vast majority of Americans, that's when we'll get away from this hate agenda, which the conservatives are doing.
A lot of conservative, hate-filled leaders like Rush Limbaugh and a lot of people on the radio and television shows these days are, everything that comes out of their mouth is shouting.
Conservatives have been easily manipulated through emotional propaganda.
I think people who are conservative are generally frightened.
People that identify themselves as conservative, they seem to think that they're compassionate, but somehow or other the compassion doesn't extend very far.
Leftist shows and radio programs, there's a lot of, it sounds like there's a lot of reasonable debates, whereas a lot of conservative media, it's a lot of shouting debates.
I work hard at being an open-minded person. I have friends who are even Republicans, which is quite amazing considering my views, but I do.
Just because they have the views they have, which seem jingoistic or chauvinist or narrow-minded and short-sighted, does not in and of itself mean that they are closed-minded.
Conservatives are closed-minded, I think, because we don't have in this country very good we don't support the right kinds of education. There's too much rote learning of numbers and letters, and quite frankly, I'm really good at it, and I've proved that, you know.
I can't believe that people aren't saying, geez, things were pretty good under Clinton. What happened in the past 3 years? What has happened?